आई होप स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रही है. Is screen visible?
Yes, sir.
PPT
Yes,
is
sir.
visible?
Hai.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, good morning once again. In today's class, we will discuss about English for public speaking. When I was going through your syllabus for this particular paper that is titled as 135, I have seen that there are so many contents related with vocab, public speaking, English for daily use, greetings, and all other aspects for what we use English day by day. Right? So, in today's PPT, I have tried to cover basic concepts of English, means how we can use English for public speaking. What are the main points which are essential, especially for public speaking and especially in English? English has a vast syllabus from grammar to literature and other aspects related to pronunciation. So it is not possible to cover all the aspects in a single class or even in a uh, single week, I can say. So I have made nearly 20 PPTs related to public speaking in English. This particular class or this particular PPT, it is not specially for a section or a unit. This comprises almost every point of the whole syllabus. And in the evening class, particularly, we will talk about your syllabus only. In previous class that was held on last Sunday and the today's class, this is about the common points covered in your whole syllabus. राइट. सो ऐसा नहीं कि ये कोई पर्टिकुलरली किसी एक सब्जेक्ट चैप्टर को लेके. सो these three classes, last two and this one that we are going to start, it is these are the common classes for your whole syllabus. And from the evening class that will held by 4, we will talk about your syllabus particularly that is available on your portal, that is Gyan course. So take care of these classes, attend these classes, while keeping in mind that it will help you to cover your whole syllabus. So let me start. Many of you might be very good in English, and some of you feel little problem in English. The problem is not in English. The problem is how we interpret it and how we present it. If you start with why communicate in English, right? According to new education policy, the government is saying कि स्टूडेंट्स को उनकी मदर टंग में पढ़ाना चाहिए, स्पेशली 8th क्लास तक. बट एट द सेम टाइम, if you want to study global subjects, we have to study them in English. It is not a compulsion, rather, it's a platform that help us to assess the international knowledge, because that knowledge is available either in local language or in English. Apart from that, if you want to communicate with the people from other cultures, English help us in communicating our message clearly, as we discussed in our last class. So this first PPT is just a review of the last class. We use English for personal and professional use. On the basis of that, communication is divided into two parts, personal and professional. In the same way, when we learn something, we learn formally or informally. We will appear for different academic or competitive examinations. As you have passed your 12th class, 10 plus 2, I can say, and you will appear in graduation exams. Apart from that, any competitive exam we will appear. It can be from Group D to Group A. English is one of the essential elements, essential topics that will be covered in your syllabus. Of course, when we appear for the interview, it is not necessary that we speak in English, But when we speak in English, we feel more formal, and it is expected that we should be formal during interview. Now comes public speaking. That is the topic of our today's class. Why English is necessary in public speaking? It is necessary in two aspects: general aspects and political aspects. You might say, sir, we are not political people. Then why we need English in political use? Of course, we are not political, but politics include social elements, our society. We watch TV debates, we read newspapers, and we also visit YouTube channels. You will find that the videos available in English, the news channels which are uh, which provide news in English, and the debate we hear in English, you will find that they have rather more intellectual level in comparison to the local English. I'm not saying that those are having less in quality. No, it's not about quality, it's about perception. It is considered that the people who hear debate in English, the people who speak in English in public, they follow rather more formal language. Why? Because it is considered that when we speak in an international language, it is considered that it is equal for all. Because India is a multicultural country, and not only according to state, but according to a particular culture, the meaning of words changes. So in that case, English help us to end ambiguity because communication is important, but miscommunication is very harmful. So in order to avoid miscommunication, in order to avoid communication barriers, English help us in public speaking. If you want to travel or explore the world, domestic or international, you will feel the importance of public speaking. That's why this topic has been included in your syllabus. If you are uh, opting for any business or you want to become a professional in any field, be it legal, business, technological, medical, you will find there are many terms which are available only in English and we feel difficulty to find their local meanings. If you talk about English as a whole, you will find that it is the most learnable language. Why most learnable? Sometimes people may make fun of that. English is a funny language. Why? Because the pronunciation of word varies from context to context, culture to culture. No, it is not fact. The reason is that it depends upon the origin of word, the context in which the word is named. Why? Because English is a gateway for foreign languages. If you want to learn French, if you want to learn Japanese, you will find that it is more easy to learn those foreign languages with the help of English. Then you will find that English is easier than Hindi. Of course, people learn Japanese in Hindi. I have seen many people, and many of my friends are Japanese teachers. They teach Japanese uh, through Hindi. But this is that there is little confusion. So English help us in clearing confusion, and this is the power of a language. If we can recall our Indian freedom movement, आपने भारतीय जो आज़ादी का इतिहास है वो पढ़ा होगा. The people, it can be, uh, they can be the people who become prime minister, who become president, and the people who just martyred for the country like Bhagat Singh. You'll find that they have said they studied the books from other countries. They studied their revolutions, like French Revolution, Russian Revolution. So it was possible due to English only, because their literature, their works are not available in Hindi, and we cannot study French or Russian or any other German, any other language like this. But since their literature was available in English, we were able to understand English. Only then it was possible to understand them. So now the point is, we should speak in English or like English. So as an Indian, we should speak in English, not like English, because the people who deal with foreigners, for example, English people, American people, French people, then they may need to speak like them. But living in India, living with Indian people, we don't bother about pronunciation so much. However, it should be correct. It should be correct. But it should not be like the English people. So it is more important to speak in English rather than speaking like English. There is a content in your syllabus of pronunciation. There is a topic related to syllables that I will discuss in later classes. So that syllable is related to your pronunciation part. If you talk about our country, it is a strange fact that our country is divided by our own languages and united by English. In last class, I gave you my own example when I was visiting Kerala, and I found that my Hindi couldn't work, their Malayalam couldn't work. It was either non-verbal communication or English that did some work. So our country is divided by our own local languages. But when we speak in English, no one feel that we are speaking in a alien language. We don't feel that. So if you start with, because I don't know who has what issue, so I should start from the zero. First of all, we must diagnose our issue. During public speaking, during speaking in English in public, what problem you feel? I have pointed down some points. I think your point might be one of them, if I'm not wrong. The first point is lack of confidence. This is not only for English, it can be for any language. It can be for any topic, I should say. Second one is feeling lack of vocab. This is also an essential point. If you don't know how to speak a particular word in English, then either we will stop speaking or we will use the word of local language. Next one is grammar. Mind that I have put grammar on a later stage, not on the previous stage, because in school learning or when we start learning any language, people start with grammar, and the first topic is tense. But I don't think it's an appropriate way to teach any language, to learn any language. Of course, we need grammar, but first of all, vocab is important, because if we know how to speak a particular word in a language, then one may understand that that person had used grammar correctly or incorrectly, right? Then sentence structure. After that, fluency comes. So if we will have good confidence, if we have a good vocab section, and we know how to use grammar particularly, and we are able to make sentence according to these two things, grammar and vocab, then we can be fluent in English. I'm not saying my English is very good, but if I'm able to convey what I want to convey and what you want me to convey, then the purpose is solved. The next point is pronunciation. We should speak in English, not language. We will follow IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet. We will not speak in BP, British pronunciation. Sometime we we need some time to give a response. Means why? Because we start translating in mind. We start doing the first point, the second point, vocab part, then grammar. Within our mind, we start translating. So it needs time, and when we take time during speaking, our fluency is diminished. So these are the points I have found that these are the issues anyone can feel while speaking in English in public. So then, what is the solution? So let us accelerate. While when I was making this PPT, I found this very interesting picture that when we don't have any substitute, we have to accelerate. You can see this car. This car is going upward, and there is a height. So in that situation, we can do one thing. Either we have handbrake, the car stop will be stopped at right there, but the car is not meant for that. There is a saying in English: the safest place for a ship or boat is seashore or bank of any water body. एक नदी जो नदी का किनारा होता है, समुद्र किनारा होता है, वो सबसे सेफ जगह है किसी जहाज के लिए, बोट के लिए। बट कमाल की बात है कि वो उसके लिए नहीं बना है, वो पानी के लिए बना है। सो देर इज नो सब्स्टिट्यूट, and when we feel we have to accelerate, only then we will succeed. So if we talk about public speaking in English, we must proceed like driving. When we drive, public driving in public makes us good driver, because until or unless we will experience the crowd, we will not become a good driver, because bad road makes good drivers, and good roads doesn't make good drivers. So there is a functioning or mechanism behind this, and the mechanism is the rule first or practice first. Means we must learn the rule first, or we do the practice first. If any of you know how to drive a car, I believe you have learned it from your relatives, friends, or any member of your family, and only a few join a driving school. However, at present time, it's a trend, and it's good also that we join driving school for learning how to drive. But they also have a confusion: rule first or practice first. So there is not any particular book that can tell us how to swim, how to drive. Then the only option is learn the basics and start accelerating. There is another example: swimming or diving. In order to learn how to swim, I'm talking about professional swimming. There are two options. First, practice at own level and join any coaching class. Means joining any professional place where there is a swimming pool and there is a professional trainer. But if you talk about swimming for personal context, then you don't need any trainer. Then you know we must know how to start swimming, and we can do practice at our home at any particular time if we have any water body. But you will find that the people who join swimming pool, swimming club, they are able to swim rather more perfectly. Why? because there are other people. This is the point. When we go to public, then only we know how to speak in public, how to drive in public, and how to swim in public. It is like sport or competition. When we play any sport at our home, our locality, right, we will not accelerate too much. But when there is a sense of competition, then we start focusing upon that. And if you talk about English, if you talk about any learning, you will find there are images of everything online. हमारे दिमाग में इमेज चलती रहती है. ऐसा कहा जाता है कि माइंड थिंक्स इन इमेज. दिमाग इमेज में होता है बिकॉज माइंड जब से है जब लैंग्वेज नहीं होती. राइट. uh, uh, there is a small dialogue in movie PK कि हम माइंड से बतियाते हैं. That can be fantasy for us, but it is fact. If you think about something, it can happen two minds, three minds, or more than three minds. They might have the same image in that mind, and this is the part of non-verbal communication. Right? If I want to teach about uh, a poem, and for example, the name of poem is Daffodils. There's a poem Daffodils. Uh, Daffodil is a flower, and the students, the people who have not seen that particular flower, daffodils, I can explain in any number of words, sentences. I must spend 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, but just by showing a picture of daffodil, the, the purpose will be solved. If there are 50 people, 100 people, and all of them have seen daffodils somewhere, right? And if they have seen a picture of that somewhere, and when someone will speak daffodils, the same image will be clicked in all the minds. So that's why we say mind thinks in. Then what we should do? We must fix some image for every English meaning. Though it is difficult, but it is not more difficult than thinking in mind, translating in mind, and then feeling problematic while speaking in public. So, if we start doing just one thing, that thinking in English, thinking the English image of everything, then it will work because it will create an environment. It will create an environment when we feel uh, that we don't know the English of any word. Instantly, we do Google, or if you have a book nowadays, it is on the hard copy dictionary is not in print because we just Google it. When we do this twice, thrice, or more than thrice, day by day, gradually, you will find that your vocab is enriching. Because when we learn something, when we feel need of that, there are chances of more retention. जब हमें किसी चीज़ की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत महसूस होती है ना, तब हम उसको सीखते हैं तो वो याद है. So if we feel that we lack this and then we learn, then there are more chances of retention. So if we want to think, start thinking in English. Then start responding in English. If anybody is speaking in English, in Hindi or in any language, and you respond in English, you will find your English is improved. And you can see that when we watch a film with subtitles, we can understand any film of any language. When I was doing my PhD is on films of different cultures. So I found that when I'm watching a British film, I'm watching an American film, Australian film, Canadian film, there's not an issue because I know English, and by watching twice or thrice, I was able to grasp. But when I was watching the German film and when I was watching the Japanese film and Chinese film, even having the subtitles, I felt some issues. And the point was that Japanese and Chinese language have different set of vocab for personal purpose, vocab for professional purpose, vocab for social purpose. So when we are watching a film, the context changes instantly. Two people are talking in home. The same two people are when they talk in public, the word changes. The meaning is same, but the word changes. And in English, they have only one word for both the context. Then issue arises. In that case, it was necessary to understand the culture, the context, the plot, the story of that film first. तब समझ में आता था कि किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट के बारे में बात है. In last class I told you that Japanese people take care of space a lot. वो space का बहुत ध्यान रखते हैं. So during speaking, they also maintain the non-verbal aspect of the language and space that reflects in the uh, fluctuation in that language, how they speak. Because when they speak with rather senior people, their speed is less. But when they speak with any junior people, their speed is higher. Right? So apart from some I should say cultures or languages. In most of the cultures, in most of the languages, if you are watching a film with English subtitles, there is not an issue. We can understand that. Another point is finding a partner. If you are able to find a partner with whom we can speak in English for 15 minutes, for half an hour, you will find it is a better platform than any other one. Because if you will find an equivalent partner, means both have the same uh, level of speaking English, then we will not feel any sort of like this that I feel problematic because I'm not able to speak. No, there's nothing like this. There's no stage fear. That person understands us and we understand him or her. So there's not an issue. So we must find a partner like that. And if we teach and learn at the same time, it is more helpful. If you will find an equivalent partner, जिसका level आपके जैसा हो, we feel we are same, so we can learn and we can teach at the same time. सामने वाले को कुछ नहीं आ रहा है, मैं तुरंत बताया, हमें नहीं आ रहा है, उसने बताया. Because it is not necessary that everybody knows everything, and it is not necessary that everybody know nothing. So simultaneously we can help and we can take help. Another point is in our home, in public, everything everything is having two things. First name, second image. So if we start speaking the names of everything in English, right? Because it's not a big thing to say shop in place of dukan. No, it's not saying uh, railway station. It's not a big thing. Let us focus on other aspects, right? We say चलो चल के जाते हैं. Let us go by walking. If you say थोड़ी सी दूर है, and you say there is walking distance, so it will work. When we learn like this, it will work. And we must take a break from your local dialect. Why? Because our local dialect insists us to speak in our local language. But when we take a break from local dialect and we will speak in English, we will find that our language is improving. And if you are able to live in English, because it is not easy to live with English means English people. So we can live in English. Living in English means doing all the things that I have mentioned. What? Thinking in English, responding in English, watching films with English subtitles, finding a partner with whom we can interact in English, and using English names for places, belongings, and any other thing that is available uh, within our uh, neighborhood. Then we can say we are living in English. Then it is time to tell you topics are important from grammar, from vocab, and from pronunciation. Because when we speak in any language, three things does matter. First, vocab, second, grammar, third, pronunciation. If you talk about the grammar first, because grammar also help us in writing something, and for academic point of view, from competitive point of view, we want to appear in any competitive examinations to become employable, and when we want to clear our papers, when we want to get good marks, then grammar helps us. If you talk about the topics of grammar, there are more than 100 topics of grammar, but it is not easy to practice all of them at the same time. Since grammar is a system of a language, not rules of language, we understand grammar in a systematic way. So instead of cramming the rules of grammar, we must understand the system of language with reference to grammar. And the system means how and why a particular sentence is being spoken. The first point is the words that denote time of action. हम सबसे बड़ी गलती लाइन पे करते हैं when we speak in English. हम do, did, does, will, shall इनमें प्रॉब्लम होती है. So सबसे पहले first of all we must focus on the words that denote time of action. Means हमें is कहाँ पे use करना है. Where we should use was, will कहाँ पे आएगा, did कहाँ पे use करना है. And if you want to ask questions, तब did कैसे use होगा, does कैसे use होगा. We must focus on that, and it's not a big deal. Then another point is using of s and es. Most of the people do mistake in speaking sentences by using s and es. Because when we talk about first person, third person, we will find that use of s and es, it creates a lot of confusion, because the first point is that when you don't know this particular word is singular or plural. Second point is that when we speak any particular word, we don't know this word is used here in a singular way or plural. If I talk about the word police, the word police, if I say police are, police is, there can be a confusion. But when you say policeman, man, policeman, it is singular. Policeman, man, it is plural. But when I say police, it is a confusion, because we can use both. Police is and are. But when I say polices, when we use policies or police of different states, police of different districts, then there is difference. When I say mathematics, we know it gives a plural sense, mathematics, but it is a name, so we will consider it as a singular. So this is the biggest confusion because in third person singular we use s, and rest of the case yes, and in rest of the cases we use s. So we must mind it is first person, second person or third person. Let me help you. यहाँ पे मैं आपको छोटा सा एग्जांपल करता हूँ. When we speak in English or when we write in English, there are chances that we use first person and second person only in few cases. In most of the time, for example, more than 95% cases, we use third person. Because for first person, when we talk about ourselves, we know that we are using first person. And we use second person when there is someone before us. And in the third case, when we are not talking about self and when there is not anyone available before us, we are talking in third person. Then mind, it is third person singular or plural. And when we will mind that, there will not be any problem of using S O E S. Next one is scenes and form. We have been using this term, we have been learning this term since our primary class. Still we feel problem. And in competitive examinations, I have seen many questions related to scenes and form. So we must learn the rule behind scenes and form. Then use of A and N. I have not written the. Why? Because there is not huge confusion with the usage of the. The confusion is of O and N. I want to tell you that all the rules of grammar are based on spoken English, sorry, written English. But this A and N means articles, they are based on spoken English. Means while using A and N, we must know the rules of pronunciation. That's why these are special. Form of verbs. It can be part of written English, but learning form of verbs is important because it will help us in all these ways. One, how to write correctly, how to speak correctly, and how to do questions related to verb in competitive examinations. So learn some form of verbs. There are nearly 1% verb of the whole English that have the same verb, be it first, second, or third. For example, cut, put. But the number of these kind of words are less than 1%. There are percentage of 4 to 5% when we have uh, a new verb, for example, drive, drove, driver, right? And in rest of the cases, say more than 90% cases, we use ed, stop, stopped, stopped. So we should learn these 10% words when the second form and third form is not equal, right? If I talk about the conjunctions or linkers in a language, it is very important. Why? Conjunctions not only help us in writing long sentences, but they also help us in speaking in public. While using conjunctions, We can speak a long sentence because it is not uh, easy to always use small sentences. So we must work on conjunctions. Then use of prepositions. Since this is not a grammar class and I cannot teach you every part, every point of grammar, but we must know which topics are important of grammar, especially for public speaking. Preposition is one of them. If we are using at, on, of in a correct way, we can speak in English correctly. Here is an example for you. Uh, if we talk about time, so there are four prepositions specially used for time to talk about time. In, on, at, by. In, on, at, by. When we reach somewhere बिफोर टाइम जबकि टाइम से पहले पहुंच जाते हैं अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि हम टाइम पे होते हैं सम टाइम वी आर लेट सम टाइम हम बिल्कुल टाइम पे होते हैं तो ये सिचुएशन बहुत ज़्यादा आती है देन हाउ वी विल यूज प्रीपोजिशंस हम टाइम से पहले पहुंचे आई रीच इन टाइम हम बिल्कुल टाइम पे पहुंचे आई रीच ऑन टाइम राइट एंड व्हेन समवन इज टेलिंग द टाइम एक्चुअली the point of time 8 a.m 9 p.m 2:30 a.m then we will use at and when we talk about time at length जैसे मैं अगले वीकेंड वहां पे जाऊंगा मैं ये काम 2 घंटे में कर लूंगा right? और जब मैं किसी टाइम पूछता हूँ what is the time dash your watch then we use by what is the time by your watch and when we talk about time in months, in years, we also use by. I will go there by next week. By next year, I'll be in the second year. So must take care of the preposition, especially of time. Second, prepositions of place. When we talk about year, month, day, it's a matter of our daily routine. I was born in which year? I was born on what day? I was born in which month? So for month in, for year in, and for day on. So we must take care of preposition, especially of time, place, and the third thing is position. The bag is under the table. The plane is flying over us. The cruise is running across the river. Right? इसको चीरते हुए जाना across. So we must focus on these point of prepositions. Then we will be able to speak in English in public especially. And we must mind singular and plural words. Sometimes you say men's, no, men. After grammar, let us talk about vocab. Vocab is not only necessary to speak in a language, but in order to enhance our knowledge, vocab is important. So I have composed, I have turned down the parts of vocab here. If I talk about vocab in a particular context, there is not any set rules to classify vocab. These are just categories. Categories in general sense, not in particular sense. In general, synonyms and antonyms. These are the first step to enhance our vocabulary. जब भी आपके माइंड में कोई वर्ड आता है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई से phone, and I know what is the synonym of phone and what is the antonym of phone. You'll find phone का synonym क्या हो सकता है? Mobile phone, cell phone. Okay, but what can be the antonym of phone? So there are names that don't have antonyms. So synonyms or antonyms are for words. And if I mind synonyms and antonyms of every word, the first step of enhancing vocabulary started. There is a word ground. 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 Ground means हम सब जानते हैं मैदान. If I say what are the synonyms of ground, we will say base. But when I say what are the antonyms of ground, you will think no, there is no antonym of ground. But when we use ground in different contexts, then there will be more synonyms and more antonyms. How? Let me tell you. Ground का एक और मीनिंग होता है आधार, बेस, on which ground you must be exempted from that. किस आधार पे आपको इससे छूट दी जाए. So when we say ground for exemption, synonyms are changed. Right? And when we see any word, you will find there is not any antonyms of that. उसका antonym नहीं होता है. तो always try to think कि इस word को एक दूसरे context में कैसे use किया जा सकता है. Must learn that. The third is homonyms. Homonyms means when a word have the same pronunciation but its meaning is different. Right? So we must learn that. If you want to start learning vocab, especially for public speaking, we must learn homonyms because by learning a single word, we can know its multiple meanings. If I say sound, 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 आवाज, we know sound means when there is a noise somewhere. If I say the student of this class are sounding, or I heard a sound, then it means a noise, आवाज. But when I say we must have a sound mind, that person has a sound body. It means fit, perfect, good. So by learning a single word, sound, 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 we can learn its multiple meanings. So when there is a word, always try to find its synonyms, antonyms if possible, otherwise homonyms. We must learn some idioms and phrases in our life. If you want to appear in any competitive examinations, you will find idioms and phrases are always there. Why? Because idioms and phrases not only help us in writing, but they also help us in public speaking. मैं कितना भी अच्छा बोलूँ कि मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, मैं वो कर सकता हूँ, but if I speak, I will leave no stone unturned. Then it will leave more impact. One word substitutes. One word substitutes, of course, are the part of written English, but they are also equally important part of speaking English, spoken English. If I say मुझे दिल के डॉक्टर के पास जाना है, वैसे I want to visit cardiologist. It is solving a purpose and it is creating a purpose, creating an impact. So learn some one word substitutes. If I say I go there every year, And if I say I go there annually, so it will even impact that if we uh, remember some one word substitutions. Next is pair of words. In the first point, I discussed about homonyms. Now I'm talking about pair of words. Pair of word means the word has similar pronunciation but different words, different spellings, I should say. Diary and dairy. When we mind that word, adopt, adapt, you will find that learning the pair of words help us in enriching our vocabulary. So whenever you mind any word, just say there is pair. There is a word pair, P-I-R. There is a word peer, P-W-R. So there is little bit difference in pronunciation. There is little bit difference in spelling, but we can learn many words like this. Pair, peer. Pair means joda. Peer, of course joda, but dolo. Pair we use for non-living beings generally, and peer we use for living beings. So difference समझ आ गया? So we must learn the pair of words. You will find a lot of words available on Google. Foreign languages words. हमें कुछ फॉरेन लैंग्वेज के वर्ड भी सीखने चाहिए चाहे हम फॉरेन लैंग्वेज सीखें ना सीखें. आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल. वी ऑलवेज यूज द वर्ड एक्सेट्रा. हम अक्सर यूज करते हैं. एक्चुअली इट इज एटसेट्रा. ETCETRA. And its meaning is and the rest. And the rest. और जो बाकी बचे हुए. We don't know the meaning of etc. But हमें क्या लगता है कि जब जो भी बचा हो उसके लिए etc लिख देते हैं. So it's a common word, but there are some other words. जैसे watching something at first time. पहली बार किसी चीज को देखना. At first sight. इसके लिए एक वर्ड है प्राइमा फेसी. PRIMAFACI. Prima facie. If we will learn words like this during public speaking, we can create more impact. एक वर्ड है RSVP. हम सब ने सुना होगा RSVP. शादी के कार्ड पे लिखा रहता है RSVP. और जनरली इसका मतलब क्या निकालते हैं? The people who want to call someone. No, RSVP means please respond. Many of us might think अच्छा RSVP तो ये होता हम तो कुछ और लिखते हैं कुछ और समझते हैं. Actually it is a foreign concept. Let me tell you the background behind this. The word RSVP has started with the culture of inviting someone. In abroad, विदेशों में क्या होता है when someone calls someone for any social event, any public event, they book a space, they book a hotel or a restaurant, and for that purpose they must know how many people are coming, because those people don't want to waste time, they don't want to waste money, and of course food. इंडिया की तरह नहीं होता कि शादी में 100 लोग बुलाए 250 आ रहे हैं और खाना खराब कर रहे हैं. So वो क्या करता है कि when they invite someone, they ask to respond, and there is a column yes, no. The person put a tick on that, and the the person who is inviting know how many people are coming. No one feel if someone say no. It may happen that person have business of the same time at another place, so then there is not an issue. So honestly, they respond whether they're coming or not. On the basis of that, that person have an idea how many people are coming, and on the basis of that, they arrange space and food as well. So that was the concept of RSVP. It is not like the Indian context. However, it is good that Indian culture believe in Atithi Devo Bhava, ki anybody will come, he or she will be fed, he or she will be given space. I'm not saying it is a wrong culture. Rather, we have a rich culture than a poor. But I'm talking about vocab. We must learn some words of foreign uh, language so that we can leave more impact. There is a word entry, E-N-T-R-Y, entry, to enter somewhere. There is another word, E-N-T-R-E-E, entry. It means enter somewhere with a right, a strong entry. So just by using another E, entry, E-N-T-R-Y, E-N-T-R-E-E, entry, the whole concept is changed. And if I talk about English as a whole, I have not included that section this in this PPT because that is not part of our syllabus. Let me tell you, dear, English has words uh, in its dictionary of more than 100 languages. English में बहुत सारी लैंग्वेज के वर्ड हैं, but the biggest percentage is Latin and French. Nearly 23% words are taken only from Latin. Another 23% words are taken from French. Then other languages, of course, Hindi and Sanskrit. For example, recently the word pakka, P-A-K-K-A, pakka. Pakka has been included in the dictionary of English. There is a word loot. It is available in English dictionary. So English has words. There's a word bar. Bar has been taken from Arabic language. Restaurant from Italian. Pasta, pastry, pizza. Right? These words are taken from other language also. There's a word uh, Volkswagen. It's a German company, German car company. We all know it is spoken as Volkswagen because in German F is written as W. So we must know some particular words that will help us in creating an impact upon people, especially in talking. Then phrasal verbs and expressions. I hope आप phrasal verbs के बारे में जानते होंगे. Phrasal verbs means when we use preposition with a word, then it becomes phrasal verb. I say act on. Act is a word. On is a preposition. Act on. It becomes phrasal verb. If you see businessmen, film actors, cricketers speaking, their grammar is not very good. It may happen their vocab is not very high, but they use phrasal verbs a lot, right? It may be little difficult to learn phrasal verbs, but phrasal verbs are one of the most effective way to create an impact, especially during public speaking. Then next is euphemisms. What are euphemisms? We will discuss it in our later slides. Euphemisms are a set of words used to convey something in rather indirect way. किसी चीज को डायरेक्टली बोलने की वजह इनडायरेक्टली बोलते हैं. That particular idea is called as euphemisms. After that, the last section of vocab is discipline specific vocab. We must learn some discipline specific vocab. कैसे? In मेडिकल सेक्टर कुछ वर्ड होते हैं जैसे बीडी, ओडी, डॉक्टर दवाई लिख के देते हैं. In engineering field, there are some terms. In uh, politics, there are some terms. In सोशल साइंस जैसे एक वर्ड है मैंडेट, बहुमत. जनादेश. If I talk about legal language, एक वर्ड होता है सुओ मोटो. वो कुछ हर सेक्शन के अकॉर्डिंग, हर फील्ड के अकॉर्डिंग, there are some words. Those are called as discipline specific vocab. There's a word TMT used in mechanical engineering because I teach mechanical students also. And in computer science only, computer science में जिस कुछ वर्ड होते हैं CAD, computer aided design, Java, right? So these are related to uh, computer science. In the same way, every field, every profession have some set of words. For example, there's a word balance. Balance means santulan, but in finance, balance means money, bank balance. So every section, every profession have some set of vocab. We must also learn that discipline specific vocab. So these were the sections of vocab. Here are some key points, or we can say summary of the points I have discussed so far. Because after that we will take a 10 minutes break, then we will join again to discuss the rest part of this class. So let me summarize. We must stop translating in our mind if we are speaking in public. So what can we do? Speak what is coming in your mind. Don't cram the rules of grammar. I will insist once again. Speak what comes to your mind. Of course, it should be sensible. It should be according to the context. And we can use English in starting. हाँ, ऐसा कर सकते हैं. Because English has words from different languages, so we can also use some Hindi words while speaking English. If we are not able to recall mind में नहीं आ रहा है कि how to speak this word in English, we can use in Hindi. But what is important, वहाँ पे ना रुकना ज़्यादा जरूरी है. Listen to your favorite people. If you will listen to your favorite people, you will find you can enhance your vocab, you can enhance your confidence, and you will be able to speak like him or her. Initially, use short sentences. Don't try to speak long sentences if you feel problem in speaking in public. For if you go for a non-native place, जैसे मैं last time I discussed about Kerala. If you go a place where people don't know our local language, then of course we will improve our language. Avoid abusive words and slangs. I have included this term because I have seen many people on the name of speaking English, they are using abusive words and slangs. Even in stand-up comedy, you will find just make people laughing, they use abusive words. So this is not the way to speak formal English. This is not the way to enrich our vocab. So must do that. Avoid abusive words and slangs. And at present, audiobooks and podcast, I feel personally is the best way to learn how to speak, what to speak, and how to pronounce a word. Because podcast, when we are traveling in a bus, when we are traveling in train, instead of listening songs for half an hour, you can go for podcasts. It will help you a lot. If we have problem, we ourselves should find solution for that, right? So these were some key points. Now it's time for a break of 10 minutes because continuously a 2 hour class can be a little monotonous. So let us take a 10 minutes break, then we will join again. Thank you. Yes, welcome back, students. So let's continue. Well, we were talking about different aspects of vocab, and one of them was euphemisms. Why we should use euphemisms when we go for public speaking, and when we are working in a company, when we are in any organization. Sometimes we have to speak. Sometimes we have to convey a message, but we must mind that the people should not feel awkward, sad, or harassed. But we have to convey some messages. So then euphemisms help us. So euphemisms are uh, one of the, what should I say, must taken care of topic during public speaking. There is a picture before you. I hope you are able to see the picture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, the employer is saying you are fired. And in place of that, if he or she uses we are letting you go, and the person, the candidate is saying I'll be between jobs. So you are fired. So you are fired means when someone is not having in his or her job more. So in place of saying we are letting you go, हम आपको जाने दे रहे हैं, and I'll be between jobs. So there's a phrase, ये एक phrase है. If someone is looking for a job, he or she is applying at multiple places, sending resume, facing interview, waiting for the call. That situation is called as being between jobs. So I'll be between jobs कि मुझे फिर से कोई जॉब ढूंढनी पड़ेगी. That is euphemisms. So here are some examples. In public speaking, sometimes we say cheap. We should not say cheap because cheap doesn't only mean sasta. It means less in quality. So instead of saying cheap, we can say economical. Instead of saying someone fat or overweight, we can say big bone. Instead of saying short, we can say vertically challenged. We should not say anyone handicapped. We can say differently abled. And if you feel that there is a senior person and he is a liar, because one can be a liar. So if we are talking about our boss, if we are talking about a senior person, we can't say liar because it's an offensive word, especially when we are in a job. So we can say that person is very economical with the truth. Meaning is conveyed, but it is rather indirect. And sometimes we use word beer, liquor, so we can write or speak adult beverages. We should not say the word second hand. We can say pre-owned. And if something of very poor quality, we can say a bit shaky. So there are only few words. You can find a lot of words similar to these on Google. If someone is, we should not say mad. Someone is not having a sound state of mind. We can say mentally challenged. Instead of saying don't say stupid because it's an abusive word, we can say intellectually challenged. So if someone is totally deaf, we can say hearing impaired. Don't say blind, we can say visually impaired. And instead of saying wealthy, we can say well-to-do. Don't say poor, say needy. And if we want to say underdeveloped, we can say third world. And as we always say, don't ask someone his or her salary. So instead of salary, we can say remuneration.
Sir,
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Yes. If someone is on unauthorized leave, because when we will work in any organization or any public or private sector, there are many people who are on leave without any information. So instead of saying unauthorized leave, we can say French leave. Instead of using the word slum, we can use substandard housing, and we should not use the word housewife for our mothers, other mothers. We rather can say homemaker. Don't say sweeper, say housekeeping staff. Illegal migrants can be spoken as undocumented workers, and if someone has died, we can say met the maker. So instead of saying someone aged, we can say mature. And if you want to demand our money, if someone has taken debit from us, we can say please settle your account. So these were some examples how we can use euphemisms. So during public speaking, euphemism help us to convey our meaning. While taking care of that, the person, the responder, does not feel harassed. Another is homonyms. As I discussed earlier, here are the examples of homonyms. See, address, to speak to, and someone's own address. Bark, bright, pole, right, left, tender, sound. So take a minute to have a look on the screen.
sir, homonism is not visible on screen.
Okay, so you are not able to see the PPT.
Yes, sir.
Then, oh, okay, 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 you are not able to see. Wait a minute.
Sir, now I can.
Yes, you can. Oh,
Yes, sir.
yes. Are you able to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me know if you have any problem in any word, because these words I have taken from the content available on eGyan course.
No, sir, there is no problem.
And the next one, have a look. because there is nothing like to explain something. I have just included these words because in your exercises, as I told you, when we will meet in the evening by 4, we will discuss the syllabus particularly, means what is in your first unit, second unit, and what we are supposed to do to that, because these three classes were uh, from a comprehensive point of view, means for your whole syllabus, you can use this material or PPT. So another example of these kind of words. So all these are homonyms. And when you will do exercise, which are prescribed in course content that is available for you, you can download that, you can study that. You will find these kind of words you are supposed to write while using them in sentence, while making a paragraph, right? So these are just an example. Now, another point is how to avoid multiple use of very. During public speaking, we say very important, very beautiful. So while using very in a multiple way, while using the word very frequently, we can use some other words. Have a look on the screen.
Sir, it is still on homonism side. Address to speak to location.
But
I'm not able to see the next one.
is there any network problem at your side?
No, sir, there is
Okay, just a
everything
minute.
is clear.
Then just a
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
minute. I think there can be network problem at my side because it is raining outside. Are you able to read very bright, very caring, very gentle?
No, sir.
And now,
Yes, sir.
hmm, okay. So, is there any issue regarding any word?
No, sir. Everything is clear. You have
Because
already.
yes, these are just examples because it's not easy to write every word which has been mentioned in your syllabus, right? So these are just examples. Yes, dear, I think you might be familiar with difference between British English and American English. When we go for public speaking, sometimes we feel that people use different word for different things. For example, at present we don't use the word photocopy, we use the word Xerox. And if you are speaking, you are saying Xerox, and someone is saying photocopy, it can be considered that both word has different meaning. It's an example because if you see on your screen difference between British English and American English, the difference in British and American is on three bases. The first is of course vocab, for example, photocopy and Xerox. The second is spellings. In British, there is a word color, COLOUR, color, but in American, COLOR. There's not an U, right? This is the second base. The third base is pronunciation. So we don't mind the third gap because neither we will speak like British nor we will speak like American. But as far as the spelling is concerned, as far as the vocab is concerned, we must also mind how American English is being spoken as these days. Because for spoken purpose, for creating an impact, people are using American English a lot. Rather, it is more easy than British one. See, the word utilize, S or Z. So Z is from American English, S is from British English. You can see forwards, towards, rightwards. In American, forward, toward, rightward. Then cricketer, footballer, healthcare, cricket player, football player. And in American English, there is no gap between health and care, healthcare. Skipping rope, racing car, rowing boat, dialing tone, jump rope, race car. Right? In British we say notes, in American we say bills. Right? Driving license, driver's license. They don't say footpath, they say side path. We say full stop, they say period. So these are common differences, and during public speaking, we also mind them. There is also difference in using idioms. There is difference in writing the date, and there is difference, of course, on keyboard.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, which language, which accent mostly used in India, British or American?
at present people are using American a lot,
Okay, sir.
but again I will say we must speak in a way so that the others can understand. That's why American is being popular. In British, there are some complicated words, and American have found rather easy word in place of that. Not only easy, I can say. Sometime the word that is more fascinating, we try to use that. Lift is a good word, lift, but elevator rather is a big word. But people used to speak elevator, rubber, eraser, move, shift, right? So there's minimal difference, but if you want to use American during public speaking, I think we can create more impact. However, as an English teacher, I must say British English is specially prescribed in our syllabus, and since our school we have been learning British English. But as far as the spoken point is concerned, American English is more easy than British English. I tell you here a small story, I can say. What happened actually when America became an independent country, as India became independent in 1947, when American became free from British rule, they thought that they will do something new. And what was new? They couldn't speak, they couldn't change the whole English, but they thought that as British have ruled all over the world through their language, American thought they will also do something, that American English will also rule the world. And what they did, they invented computer or window, I can say. And any person who is using laptop or computer, you will find when there is COLOUR, it shows an error, right? So they rule the world, they are trying to rule the world due to their technical competencies. So that's why they, I will not say invented, but they modified English in a way that it can be more in use in comparison to British English. British English. For example, there's a word program. The spelling of program in British is PROGRAMME, but Americans say PROGRAM. There is no need of another M or E. I think it is correct also. right? Because in British, there are some confusions. Still, there are some confusions. But American in American English, there is not any confusion. Especially as British English has, we can feel whether we should use S or Z. But Americans say, of course, you can write Z. You can speak J. There is no issue. There's another word, Genre. Genre. In British, it is written as genre, spoken as genre or genre. But Americans say you can also call genre and you can also call genre, right? So American has more liberty. So this is a good thing. The next one is in your syllabus. This is mentioned during greetings. How to say how are you and thank you. Uh, there are only few expressions, few phrases were there. So I searched some more phrases and I have brought to you some more. I think it will help you to enrich your public speaking. See, these are the ways how to say how are you. I think you might be familiar with some of them, but you could find some new one also here. Have a look on the screen.
Yes, sir.
So whatever you are watching on your screen, that I have taken, we know it already. इन सब के बारे में हम जानते हैं. Let us look at the next one. Yes, right. So these are some new ones, and if you will use them, uh, it will have more impact.
Yes, sir. But can you tell me the last?
Yes, yes.
What is good in the hood?
Yes, I was supposed to tell about this. This hood has been taken from again the American context. In America, there is a saying, "आपका पड़ोसी ठीक है तो आप ठीक हो." सो ये नेबरहुड से लिया गया है. इफ आवर नेबर इज राइट, आवर इफ देर इज नो प्रॉब्लम इन आवर नेबरहुड, वी आर गुड. सो वी कैन से व्हाट्स गुड इन द हुड, एंड इट्स मीनिंग इज आसपास क्या चल रहा है, राइट? हम कहते हैं ना और सुनाओ. सो दिस इज द इंग्लिश ऑफ दैट, व्हाट्स गुड इन द हुड, कि और आसपास क्या चल रहा है, राइट? शुड वी
And
गो?
sir,
हाँ, यस प्लीज प्लीज.
how is life sailing?
हाँ, इट्स मीन्स इट्स अबाउट द अप एंड डाउन्स इन लाइफ. जीवन में कोई उतार चढ़ाव है क्या? तो इट्स सेलिंग विदाउट एनी स्ट्रोम. स्ट्रोम मीन्स तूफान. तो नहीं, सब कुछ ठीक ठाक है. हाउ इज लाइफ सेलिंग? आफ्टर सेइंग हाउ आर यू, वी कैन से हाउ इज लाइफ सेलिंग, और क्या चल रहा है. सो इट्स सेलिंग विदाउट एनी स्ट्रोम. When
Okay, sir.
if you will exactly, I can't recall, but I was listening to a podcast. Yes, I was listening to Amrita Rao. So then she used this term. When life was selling without any storm, a day came and this happened. Right? So if you will listen to any podcast, then you will find words like this. And these words are really good. Spelling is not very complicated and it is not very difficult. We can call them jargons, but it will create an impact on listener, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is like a phrase.
Yes, we can say phrase. Yes,
Okay, sir.
yes, we can call them phrase. Sometime there are some inclusions of phrasal verbs also.
Yes,
Then,
sir.
then the next one is how to say thank you. If you will go through your syllabus, अगर आप syllabus check करोगे on your e-ज्ञान कोश, you will find there is a unit specially for uh, greetings in public. So I have prepared this for that section, right? How to say thank you.
Sir, first one.
Yes, thanks a ton for the favor. What's the issue?
Ton.
Yes, it is written in American in that way. Thanks a ton for that favor. Yeah, it's an American word, I can say. American spelling, I can say. Thanks a ton for the favor. Thanks a bunch for everything. Right? Like this, I am indebted. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, and I am indebted. So, it's a combination of a new one and, of course, the old one.
Yes, sir.
And next one is how to respond to thank you.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have to learn these things, or
Yes, yes, ask. These
or
actually, uh, if you have you seen your syllabus? Have you seen any? Have you discovered any content available on eGyan Kosh?
yes, sir. I tried, but I am waiting for your evening class for
Okay,
syllabus.
okay, okay. I will let you know how to learn that. Right in evening, I will start with the first one, and next class it will cover at least 4 units because we have only 8 to 10 classes to cover the whole syllabus. So I thought in beginning I must prepare a PPT that comprise the whole syllabus, I can say. Right? Then we will go one by one. And when we will study them, then you will find why I prepared PPT on these topics. Right? One of the yes, only 2 slides are left. Yes, one of the important part of public speaking, as mentioned in your syllabus, is how to introduce self. So these are two PPTs from that. When we introduce ourselves, there is a personal introduction, there is a professional introduction. So these two PPTs are from that. So during our personal introduction, we introduce ourselves and our family. We give brief introduction of our native place. We discuss about educational background. We will discuss about our personal interests, strengths and weaknesses, motivation and attitude, and any special achievement at personal front. So these are the points of personal introduction. So if you want to prepare an introduction of 5 to 10 minutes, we can uh, compose our information in this sequence, right? And here's a word, personal interest. Mind that hobbies and personal interest both are different. Hobbies are rather casual practices that we want to do to kill time, but personal interest means the things that help us personally as well as professionally. If I say my hobby is sleeping, but it is not worth mentioning during public speaking. But if we say listening to music or exploring the world, traveling, that is a rather pretty word than sleeping and all that. So mention personal interest, not hobbies. Again, I tell you, hobbies are to kill time, but personal interests are to utilize time. Right? For example, playing games on mobile. It can be a hobby. It is not personal interest. right? But finding bugs in mobile game, that can be a personal interest, right? And now let's go upon the professional introduction. So during your interview or during your introduction in public, in a professional context, we must focus on these points. We must discuss about professional interest. In personal introduction, it was personal interest, but in professional introduction, we will start with professional interest. Then areas of specialization, add-on courses we have done, because there are a lot of courses available on swim portal, ignu portal, and some other websites like coursera, futurelearn.com. So we can mention the courses we learned from that platform. Training and industrial exposure, aims, objectives, and goals. We can discuss about short term goals, long term goals. Then our perspective towards the industry. It means if you want to join the hospitality industry, we must know what is going on at present in the hospitality industry. If you talk about tourism industry, I was reading in the morning the newspaper that the tourism industry is having a growth of last 10 years, peak on in last 10 years. 10 साल में पहली बार जो टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री इतनी पीक पे चल रही है, टॉप पे चल रही है, 10 साल बाद ऐसा हो रहा है, मतलब इतना कभी नहीं हुआ। मीन्स इट सीम्स एवरीबडी वांट टू गो ऑन ट्रैवलिंग, हर कोई घूमने जाना चाहता है। सो एंड देयर आर सम प्लेसेस वेयर a single room is not left. And even in the month of July, because June is called as the month of vacations, even in the month of July, there's not space at very popular spaces, right? So this is perspective towards industry, means how to have a background knowledge, the latest knowledge, and upcoming expectations regarding our industry, we must include that. How are you a perfect person for the position or role? And then our expectations and demands from the job, from the employer, and from the company as well, right? So these are the parts of professional introduction. So according to these, we can prepare our introduction. So I'll end up today's class with this quote. So it's a very good quote by Rumi. Rumi was a Sufi saint, and he has said, raise your words, not your voice. It is rain actually that grows flower, not thunder. It means we must enhance, enrich our vocab. We must not raise our voice, right? So,
Yes, sir.
so that's all from my side. So, if you have any question regarding today's class, ask me.
No, sir. Today is no question.
Okay, I think today's class was less boring than the previous classes.
Yes, sir.
Because dear, I do whatever I'm directed to do. So I'm directed to have a break. So that's why I took a break, and I will try to make evening classes a class more interesting, because sometimes it is not easy to make everything very easy, because learning is never an easy thing. सीखना कभी आसान नहीं होता. And when we say something is interesting, it means we create our interest in that. This is the only thing, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so if you don't have any question, you may leave, and we will meet in the evening.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, can we leave?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. See you in the evening. Thank you.